Hi guys, yeah, welcome back to the channel. Today we're making a Milkmaid top. I guess you must have been saying something like this. So, and for this top now, I'll be using a full scale bodice block, like your waist down to your blouse length. Okay, so I already marked all these points out because I believe we'll know how to draft a basic block, but I'll still drop in the description box a link to a video on how to draft a basic bodice. Okay, so from the shoulder now, I take the underbust, the bust point, the waist, and the blouse length, including seam allowance. Okay, the next thing I want to do is to create the neckline. Although the neckline, we don't need it, but I just want to draft it out. So from this point now, you take your neck width and your neck depth. So I'll be using 3 inches by 3 inches. Okay, just like I said, it is not really necessary. So that creates, or that makes a round neckline. So you connect with your curve rule like so, just like the way I'm doing. Okay, now the next thing I'll do is to get the shoulder slope. So to get the shoulder slope now, I'll divide my shoulder by 2, and from that point I'll come down by 1 inch. From that 1 inch now, I'll connect to the neck width with a straight ruler. Just watch what I'm doing. So from that shoulder slope now, I'll come down to my chest line. You can use your bust measurements divided by 6 plus 1.5. Okay, that is what I use most of the time. Or you can just come up by 2 inches from your bust point. 2 inch, 1.5 inches. Okay, so the next thing I want to do now is to confirm the lines. Okay, whatever I have at the beginning will be marked till the end. Now you come to the middle of this line, shoulder line, and find the midpoint. Okay, so the midpoint now, that is where you will come in by 0.5 to get the armhole curve. So from that midpoint, you connect to the chest line with a slight curve like so. It's a curve using your curve rule. Then from that point upward to the tip of the shoulder, you connect the straight line. So just blend that point like so. Okay, to avoid sharp points or sharp area. Okay, you can just use your curve rule to blend that part also. Okay, and that is that about that. Before I proceed, I would like to label this front part, okay, the center part, as the center front. Remember, you'll be cutting this on fold. Sorry, we are assuming you are cutting on fold. Okay, so that's the center front. Okay, so the next thing now is to take the dart line from the bust point down to the full length. Okay, so from the center front now, you take your bust span divided by 2. I hope we all know this. So by the time you watch the video, you will understand better. So just find the link in the description box and you will see different way to draft the basic bodice, both half scale and full scale. So I'll mark the bust span from the beginning, the bust point down to the full length. Then I'll connect with a straight line like so. So I'll come down to the waistline area just like I'm doing, and I'll take 0.5 inch on both sides. Okay, and that will form the dart legs. So from the bust point now, you come down by 1 inch, and from that waistline, that 0.5 you took earlier, you connect like so, just like we am doing. Okay, so after this now, you extend the dart to the full length. So from the full length now, you come up by 1 inch. Okay, remember this is a full scale block. It's going to stop around your your lower waist. So you come up by 1 inch, then you connect the dart leg also, just like you did for the upper part, and we have our dart ready. Okay, so now I'll just make it visible with my marker so that we can see clearly. Okay, so guys, I already done that, and this is what we have. as you can see. Okay, now from this center on the underbust line, we want to create the cup. So from that underbust line, you come up by 1 inch. Okay, 1 inch, then you connect to the dart leg, the first dart leg on the underbust line. Just watch closely. Okay, so I like to work with pencil first in case I make the mistake. Nobody's perfect, remember. So on the other side too, whatever you have here, you will impute it on the other side too. Then you mark it on the bust point line. Do not mix it up. Okay, so just watch what I'm doing closely. So I already mark it now, and I'm going to connect from the under bust, from the dart leg, do not forget, then to the chest line. Okay, you have to be careful when you are doing this. Okay, exactly, so you extend it to the top like so. Do you understand? So you can just do the other one too, as long as you are sure that what you drew is okay. You just connect the lines like so. Okay, thank you guys for watching till this moment. If you're a new subscriber, do not leave without subscribing. Okay, and if you're a old subscriber, thanks for coming back. So this is the cup area. Okay, and next thing you want to do now is to connect the upper part. So you'll be connecting from the armhole area to the chest line. But one thing is that if you don't want it to be lower, you can always come up by 0.5, just like I'm doing. So my client does not want it to be low, so I come up by 0.5. Okay, but I'll do the 2 so that you would see the difference. Okay, I'll do the 2. I'll connect to the chest line first, then I'll connect to the 0.5 so that we will see the difference and will be clear by what I meant by, it is your choice. You can just do it the way you like. So this is the first one. This is the one I'll be using. Okay, so then the second one now, if you want it to get to the chest line area, you can even come down a little bit after the chest line. It depends on you. So can you see the difference now? It's now left for you to choose which one you want to use. Okay, so guys, after this now, what I want to do is to make all this line visible. So guys, give this video a thumbs up, share, drop a comment, and do not forget to subscribe, just like I've said before. Okay, so after which you have done all this, the next thing we want to do now is to cut out. But before that, we'll be taking our body measurement. So on the chest line, you take your bust measurement divided by 4, remember. Okay, so the fast way you can just take your measurements is to divide your tape into 4. I guess we all know this. So you take your measurement and you add your seam allowance. If you are adding a lining to this, remember to add 0.5 seam allowance that you'll be needing to join the lining. And on the waistline, when you take your waistline divided by 4, remember to return the dart you took earlier. Okay, I'll take the measurement plus the darts, 1 inch, then plus my seam allowance. Then on the full length, remember it's a full scale, so you'll be taking, or you'll be imputing your hip measurement divided by 4 plus your seam allowance. There is no dart in that area. Remember, we just add a straight line. Okay, so then you connect like so. You can find me on Instagram 401 styling, TikTok 401 styling, then Facebook 401 styling. Okay, so I just want to confirm my measurements. Okay, always confirm your measurements. I like to say this because of what I've seen, what I've been through, and what it has caused, and I'm glad I'm used to it already. So you can just blend that part with your curve rule. Okay, so after this now, you can now cut. Okay, but I'll make it visible. Okay guys, can you see now? I already write it on it that I have my seam allowance, so that by the time I'm transferring to fabric, I don't add seam allowance again. So now what I want to do now is to cut it out. Okay, On this chest line area, as you can see, I have two lines, but I'll be using the first one, then I'll be cutting through that line and the sides. Okay, just watch closely what I'm doing. Now from the chest line, decide which of the lines you want to make use of, the base and the sides. But I would like to rewrite all these bust points on the bust, waist and full length I labeled earlier, so that by the time I cut it out, you know it won't be there. You can just rewrite it so that you don't get confused. Okay, then trim off the margin line. It will add to your measurement. Okay, so the next thing is to cut the back pattern. So what I'll just do now is to place the front pattern on a fresh paper, leaving about 1.5 inch or 2 inches behind, like in front, for the zipper allowance area. Okay, so after which I've done this, now I'll point out the key point area, then I will trace out this armhole. Remember, we have an armhole here, do not forget. And then I'll trace every other part. So I'll just label this part as a zip allowance, as you can see. Then what I'll do now is to mark all these strategic points, that bust points, waist, under bust, and whatever lines I have there. Okay, although I don't need the under bust at the back. We don't have a bust in the back now. We don't have a bust at the back, don't mind me. So after that, now take out the front pattern and trace it out. So I'll be using my blue pen to do that. Okay, the full length and the seam allowance, the waist and the bust points, the under bust, and the chest line area as well. Okay, so after this, now I'll just mark out my zipper allowance also. Remember, we are fixing a zip at the back, but if you are making use of a stretchy fabric, you might not need a zipper allowance. Okay, but for this one I'm using a zipper allowance. So the next thing is to get our neckline at the back, the back neckline. You can decide to maintain the chest line, or you just decide on how low you want it to be. But before that, now I would like to trace out once again the sides. Okay, so that exactly what I have in the front is what I'll have at the back as well. As you can see, just watch closely. Okay, so do not forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, share it, and drop your comments. Okay guys, so this is it. Now I want to use my curve rule to create the neckline. Okay, so from that armhole area, you now decide where exactly you want it to be. Okay, I don't want it to be too low actually, so I'll be just marking this slightly like so. You can decide to use the chest line like I said before, then you extend the line to the zipper allowance area. So you can use the chest line area, or you just come down, but I'll still mark the two so that you would know and understand what I'm saying. Should we get it now? Okay, so it's now left for you to decide on which of the two you want to make use of. Okay, so the next thing I want to do now is to mark my dart. We also have a dart at the back. Okay, so for the dart, you are making use of your bust span also, divided by 2, just like we did for the front. So guys, this is it. Okay, I make it visible with my marker. So the next thing I want to do is to cut out from the neckline. Choose which of the necklines you want to use. Cut the armhole, the full length, and at the back here, before I forget, we'll have to do the back tightening or the zip tightening. Okay, so from the waistline, you take 0.5 inches inward from the first zipper allowance line. Okay, then you repeat the same process on the second one. Then you connect to the neckline or somewhere before the neckline. Okay, this is done just to avoid the zip bulge at the back. Okay, so that is that about that. And after that, now you cut accordingly. Okay, so by the time you transfer to the fabric and you start sewing your sewing your fabric, you will even see the effect there already. So just hold on, let me trim this side. Just hold on. By the time you watch the part 2 of this video where I cut and stitch, you will understand better. Okay, so this is what we have. Now I'll be cutting out the cup area. Okay, this is the front and this is the back. Okay, this darts you are still going to cut it out, remember, but let's deal with the front first. So this cup area we'll have to cut it out because we'll still need to work on this. We'll have to work on it. Okay, so gently cut this part out. So this is what you have. Okay, so after which you have cut this out, you will need to measure this particular area. So by the time you want to fix back your cup, you will know exact measurements you'll be needing. Okay, I hope you understand what I meant, as in this part that I cut out, you now measure. Then now we'll cut out the darts. Okay, so for the cup area we'll be using a slash and spread method. Calm down. You still see. Let's just finish with this one first. So now I'll cut out the dart lines and the dart legs. Okay, and this is what we have. So this is the center front and the side front, and this is the cup. Just write it on it like so. Okay, I like to label a lot because it really helps. Trust me, you need to cultivate our habits too of labeling. Okay, and this is back pattern. I will label to this is the back. Okay, and this is the center back, that is the CB. I'll be cutting 2 of that. Okay, now let's work on the cup. Okay, you know that it has a fullness, so to get that fullness now we'll have to slash and spread this. That is, we'll be cutting this pattern into pieces. Okay, so to do that now you need to get a fresh paper. Okay, because by the time you are cutting, you need to arrange on another paper. Okay, so just watch what I'm doing. But before that, now you need to divide the cup into places. So I'll be using 1 inch to divide this, and automatically I'll have like 7 because this is like 7 inches wide. So after that, you now mark. Okay, depending on how you want to cut it, you can make it 1 inch apart or 2 inch. So after this, now the next thing you will do is to cut it out. Okay, according to the lines you drew. Okay, then you label. Okay, make sure you label because you need to arrange according to how you cut it. So the way you can do it and you won't mix it up is to label. Then I will label this 1 to 7, as you can see. After labeling, you can now cut. Okay, and mind you, you do not mix it and you don't turn it upside down. So just cut and cut and cut. Okay, so after cutting now, you will arrange on the paper. You need to mark a line that will be as a guide for you, and when you are arranging, you decide on how wide you want it to be. So this will be determined by the inches you leave in between each paper. Okay, I left like 1 inches each. Okay, I don't want it to be too wide. Then after that, now you now trace out the pattern. Do not forget to do that. So you trace out the pattern like so, just like the way it is. So by the time you finish cutting out and you finish stitching, it will be the same as the original pattern. Okay, this is the center front. That will be, you'll be turning that part, remember. Then you have to label also. So when you get to that part, you will know. So this is the method of adding fullness. Okay, slash and spread is one of the method of adding fullness. So after this, now we'll need to cut out this pattern just like the way it is, and you'll be needing 2 of that. Okay, for both sides. As you can see that the shape I'm cutting out is just like the way it is. Okay, so now you need to demarcate with an arrow where the center front is and where the side front is, just like you see that I'm doing now. This is the essence of labeling. Cultivate the habit of labeling is really important. It saves you from problem. Trust me, we are not perfect. We are born to forgetting things. Okay, so that is the side front. As you can see, do you see what I'm talking about? Your arrangement matters. Do you see it rhymes even before I remove them? So you can always keep this in case of next time you want to make something like this for someone else. That is one of the advantage of pattern drafting. Okay, so after this, now I'll write it on it, cut 2, okay, so that you don't start wondering how you're going to go about it. So this is the front pattern. It's complete now. You have the center front, you'll be cutting 2, you'll be needing 2, sure, or you cut on fold, please cut on fold, don't mind me. So the side front, you'll be cutting 2, okay. So, and this is the back, okay. The back, you can also write it on it, cut 2 and cut 2, in case you want to give your work to someone to do for you. It won't be difficult for them, they will easily understand. So the next thing we want to do is to cut out this darts at the back, okay. You need to cut it out just like the way I'm doing now. So that is the essence of labeling, because by the time you label, you won't mix it up after you have written after you have cutting it out, okay. You really need to label, like you have to learn how to label, especially when you're doing that manipulation. Okay, so this is back pattern, it is ready, okay. Then our front pattern too is ready as well. Can you see we have 3 parts, of course, and this cup, okay, the reason why it is like this is that so that we can get the puffy effect that we are going to be having, okay. That what makes it a Milkmaid gong. Sorry about that. So I'll be using this crepe fabric. I really love this fabric. I feel like hijacking it from my clients, but sorry, I can't do that. So guys, that'll be all for today. The next video, next tutorial, I'll be sharing to us. I'm sharing with us, sorry. English don't tire me. So I already placed my pattern on the fabric with 0.5 seam allowance all round. So in the next video, next tutorial, I'll be dropping it very soon. So we'll be concluding this video. See you in my next video. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.